This is the second of 3 versions of introductions to Great Brain Training. If you've not seen version 1, stop. Do so first. It'll make a big difference in the way you watch the videos. Check for a link below. The 3 versions together are a demonstration showing how Great Brain Training starts where other programs leave off. When you complete the 3 versions, your brain will have been trained in a way that you've never done before. What would you like? Do you want to be the smartest, healthiest, wealthiest, happiest, and maybe even the holiest and wisest person you can be? What kind of question is this? What is this question doing? It's actually a puzzle and a paradox and a lot more. Can you figure it out? Likely, your brain already answered the question before you even considered what it means, unless you were being quite mindful. How did your brain respond and why? How do you think other brains responded? If you were watching your brain's response as it became conscious of the question, then you were being mindful. If you considered some of the possible interpretations about the function and purpose of the question, then you are being even more mindful. It is more and more important, even critical, in this age of information overload, that you and everybody else be more mindful. And that's what Great Brain Training is about. The real and only secret in life is that mindfulness is best, and that involves Great Brain Training. It's about being totally mindful so that you can achieve what you really want. There are 2 parts to doing Great Brain Training. Play brain games, but make sure you do it the right way, and train to be mindful. What does it take? Doing it by designing your own program, or of course by participating in our program. Whatever you do, make sure that you get social support. It's nearly impossible to do Great Brain Training by yourself. Get started by being motivated to take action. How does motivation work? When do you really go after something? Actually, we know quite a bit about why and how your brain goes after something. We know a lot less about why you go after something. But there are some powerful clues. Next, there's a video clip from the best received YouTube video that I've seen about self-motivation. Watch it carefully.
But for yourself, here's the deal. How can we inspire people and ourselves to be self-motivated? There's another word. It's called empowerment. You've heard that word, right? Now, the management definition of empowerment is get her done. Just get her done with fewer resources and less time. I empower you. Make it happen. I'm talking about feeling empowered. That's different. Feeling empowered is when you're self-motivated. Now, if you want to know if you feel empowered, or if your child, your student, your worker feels empowered, ask them 3 questions. And if they say yes to these 3 questions, they will feel empowered. And by the way, this is not based on common sense, it's based on research. But you've all been there, so it'll feel like common sense. Question number 1, can you do it? Albert Bandura calls it self-efficacy. Do you believe you can do it? Do you have the time, the knowledge, and the training to do what we're asking you to do? If you answer yes, good. Second question, will it work? Do you believe that we're asking you to do the process will work? Albert Bandura calls that response efficacy, believing that the behavior will lead to the ultimate outcome. By the way, that takes education, right? We have to show them the data. We might show them some theory. We show them, teach them why this might work. I just used the word education. Earlier, I used the word training. Is there a difference? In elementary school, we call it education. Middle school, education. High school, education. College, higher education. Then you go to industry. What do you call it? Training. You have your training department. There must be a difference. Well, you know the difference. Do you want your kids to have sex education or sex training? And your kids might answer the question differently. Because you know that training means you do the behavior and you get feedback. That's powerful. Powerful. Have you ever heard this word, online training? It's an oxymoron, isn't it? I mean, training is watch the behavior. Online training, it's like plastic silverware, jumbo shrimp, legal brief, country music. I mean, it doesn't work. Okay, so if you answer yes to it will work, third question, is it worth it? So we've had a training question, we've had an educational question, this is the motivational question. Do you believe the consequences? This is about consequences. B.F. Skinner taught us this, selection by consequences. Dale Carnegie quoted B.F. Skinner and said, from the day you were born, everything you did was because you wanted something for doing it. Consequences. Is it worth it? So you have to convince people that it's worth it. Now, by the way, if you answer yes to those three questions, you feel competent. Am I right? You feel competent at doing worthwhile work.
Scott's presentation was more about the how than the what of motivation. As I said, there is not much that we know as to what you want most from life, but I did come across a couple of pieces of research that are relevant. One comparing money versus honor, and the second where people who were at death's doorstep told us what they wanted most from life, which I'll cover more in the next video. It turns out that honor and integrity are more important as motivations than most people realize. Did you watch your brain as you were watching this video? Did you watch mindfully? We'll be discussing this video on our public forum, and I hope you join the conversation. Thank you for watching. Let's look forward to working together.